Hey folks, Maverick Watch Reviews back here with another review. First of all, I hope everybody had a really happy Thanksgiving. I hope you got to spend some really quality time with your family and friends and you overdosed on a lot of turkey. I know I did. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. This is the Citizen Eco Drive Limited Edition 300 meter solar quartz titanium diver, model number BN0141-53E. And as usual, we'll open it up, look at the fit and finish, the features and the functions, the build quality, and then give you my overall impressions of this really nice limited edition titanium diver from Citizen. Now, as you can tell from this Citizen watch box, the inner box is going to be different than your normal Citizen watch box. Now, I love it when they do this. They have these like Pelican style replica watch boxes for these Citizen Pro Masters. Now these aren't going to be waterproof like a real Pelican case, but they just look really neat. They make a great presentation, and I've always liked them. So again, these are not waterproof, so don't think you could ever store any valuables in this and it'll keep it, it'll keep those valuables safe, because these are not waterproof. They're just for display. So anyway, so there's that. Now before we actually open it up, let's get some of this stuff out of the way. This is just some advertising from Citizen. You have your 5-year warranty and your kind of like your general instructions on this pamphlet. And then you have your full manual on this one. So there you go. So let's open this thing up and see what we have here. All right. Now you can tell that this is a limited edition because it comes with this card that says limited edition. Anyway, you look on the back and it'll give you the serial number of this one. And this is 804 of 2500. So as you can tell, this really is a limited edition Citizen watch. I don't review too many of these. In fact, I don't think I've ever reviewed a limited edition Citizen before. I've done so with Seiko's, but not with a Citizen. So this is really cool for me to let y'all take a look at this. So there you go. There's the card. This will come with each watch that you buy. There you go. All right, let's take this off. And here's the watch. Now also inside of this case, this is actually rubberized. This is all rubberized, which is really cool. Just a really, really neat display case, display box. Man, I love these things. So there you go. All right. Let's take a look at this watch here. Now, as usual, on the left-hand side of the screen, I'll go ahead and put all the basic specs, and then we'll talk a little more in depth later in the review. You're looking at a 43 millimeter titanium case. It's 13 millimeters thick. It's on a 20 millimeter titanium bracelet. It's 300 meters water resistant, which is 985 feet. It does have a sapphire crystal. Of course, it's solar powered being Eco Drive. It's powered by the E168 movement that has a 6-month power reserve. Of course, it has overcharge prevention. It has a date function at 3 o'clock with a Cyclops, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. It does have a signed screw down crown over here at 3 with these crown guards. And again, it's a limited edition of 2,500 units. So these are getting pretty rare, so you might want to snap one up if you get the chance. So let's talk a little bit more about this. Let's talk about the dial first, I guess. It's a real simple matte black dial. Nothing fancy with the dial. The indexes are kind of semi-applied. They're raised just enough off the dial to give it a little bit of depth. But they're not super applied. They're not real thick. They're not real high up on the dial. And they also have, looks like a kind of like a slightly polished bezel around each index. I don't know if the light will catch that enough, but you can see that. Again, just a real simple dial, minimal writing. Of course, you see it says Eco Drive, Eco Drive Divers 300 meter in titanium over here right above the 6 o'clock index. And then of course you have your date function over here at 3 o'clock with the Cyclops on top. Now, the problem with this Cyclops is I think it actually kind of makes it harder to read the date. In nice bright light like this, it's really easy. But if you have any sort of shadow over the date window, it actually makes it harder. And of course, the date window itself is a little bit small. I wish they would make these date windows and day windows just a little bit bigger on these watches, just to make them a little bit easier to read. I mean, it looks cool. But I'm not quite sure how functional it is. I mean, you can, in bright light, you're great. But any sort of shadow, that's when you come into some problems with even just reading the date window without the Cyclops. These are really small. So, I mean, it does help a little bit. Of course, you can see right there, it says the 27th because it is in bright light right now. But anyway, so going back to the case and the dial, real nice bezel as well. Great click action to it. It's a 120 click bezel. And what I like about this is that it lines up perfectly with the 12 o'clock pip. That's absolutely one of my pet peeves. As anybody knows that's watched my reviews, I've got to have that pip line up perfectly with 12 o'clock. I don't know what it is. Kind of a nice satin finish on the bezel, as well as really the whole case. You've got a couple little polished areas right around the curve of the lug here. That's polished, but most of it's kind of either a matte finish or like a nickel satin brush type of finish. Nice screw down crown, signed screw down crown. You see the ProMaster logo there. The actual crown itself is pretty highly polished, probably because it's protected by these crown guards, so they can get away with, you know, polishing the crown a little bit more than everything else. Just a real simple case, nothing spectacular. I mean, it's form and function at its finest. This is really a diver, a tool diver watch. So you're not going to get a whole bunch of decoration on a watch like this, and you really don't even need it. So anyway, bracelet, love the bracelet. This is the same bracelet that I found on my watch of the year last year, which is another Citizen diver, a 200-meter diver. And I'll go ahead and put a picture of that on the left-hand side of the screen so you can take a look at that real quick. That was my watch of the year last year, and it has the same exact bracelet as this one. And man, I love these bracelets because they have that built-in diver's extension. And it's also really kind of like, it's also an adjustment. So you pull it out, there you go. That can fit over a wetsuit. But it's also actually a micro adjustment too. So if you need to adjust the watch, this is the way to go. Because a lot of Citizens don't have a whole bunch of micro adjustments, whereas Seikos do. Most Seiko watches, you'll get 3 or 4 micro adjustments on the bracelet. On Citizens, you just don't do that. I think they're kind of phasing this bracelet in on their higher end watches to kind of, I guess, make up for that fact. And that's kind of what they're going to go towards, with these kind of these ratcheting diver extension / micro adjustment bracelets, which is really nice. Very, very, very well made. And just picking this watch up, it is light because, of course, the whole watch is titanium, but it just feels really substantial. I know it's kind of an irony, I guess, or a dichotomy. I'm not quite sure the right word I'm looking for here. But being it is so light, it's still very substantial in the hand. Just feels great. Very, very well built watch. Nice looking watch too. So again, incredibly legible. Those indexes are incredibly well placed. They're just big enough. They're not too big, not too small. Again, we talked about the Cyclops, not quite sure if it really helps or hurts. We talked about the bracelet, the minimal writing on the dial. Again, I mean, you don't want a whole bunch of writing on your dial to distract from the kind of like the minimalistic view of the dial. You want to be able to look down, instantly tell what time it is. And with this watch, you can absolutely do that. Really, really cool. So let's take a look at the case back here. Now, I don't know if you can see that real well. There we go. You can see where it says limited edition. You can see where it says 804 out of 2,500. And I've never reviewed a limited edition Citizen before, so this is really cool. So there you can see all the other laser etching, the serial number, the movement, all the other good stuff. So there you go. And I'm really, really surprised that this bracelet doesn't have solid end links. I would think for a watch in this price range, and I'll tell you what it costs later, it would have solid end links. I'm really, really shocked that it doesn't. And this watch costs more than you think it does. I was really surprised. Also, if you look right there, you can see it says Citizen, base titanium, banned China. That's disappointing. Most of these, a lot of these watches will have the movement made in Japan, but it'll be cased and assembled in China or Malaysia or some other different country. But hey, you know, it's titanium, and that's really all I care about, the fact that it's titanium. And most of these Citizen watches, the higher end watches, especially the satellite waves, are all made in Japan. So I guess there's a little bit of compromise here, but anyway, there you go. So let's put this back. Actually, let's try this on real quick. Now, most of these fit me right out of the box, and this is no exception. So there you go. Real nice wrist presence. With it being 43 millimeters, that's really the sweet spot for me for watch case sizes. Between about 42 and 45 is my sweet spot. Anything smaller, I think it just looks too small in my hand. Anything bigger, I just think it looks a little bit gaudy. So there you go. Really good looking watch. And again, you can just look down and immediately tell what time it is. If you look, you can see the second hand is jumping every 2 seconds. That means this needs to be charged. It's been in a box for a while, so it hasn't gotten any sunlight. So by it jumping every 2 seconds, that's telling me that it has about 4 or 5 days left of charge before it completely dies. So there you go. Anyway, now let's get to a real highlight of this watch. Let me go ahead and kill the studio light, and I'll show you. Normally, you really can't beat Seiko Lume on a diver watch, period. I mean, they have the best. That LumiBright's just the best out there, period. But I don't know if Citizen has gotten a hold of their formula or what's going on. But look at the lume on this thing. Really, really good. I really like the lume. I also like the fact that there are two different lumes, two different lume colors. If you look, most of them are kind of like that teal greenish blue on all the indexes. But the minute hand has kind of a green, and there's a green pip up here at 12 o'clock. So I like the use of multiple different colors of lume. It really helps, differentiate that minute hand from the hour hand. Plus, it just looks cool. I've always liked Citizen's kind of teal, greenish, bluish lume color better than Seiko's green. But that Seiko green LumiBright just lasts forever. I wish they would come out with a blue like this Citizen color. Like a blue, like of a teal blue LumiBright. So I like Citizen's lume color better. I like Seiko's lume longevity. It just lasts so much longer than any other lume out there. So there you go. All right, I'm trying to think of anything else I might have forgotten about the watch. Again, it's built like a tank. It's just, even though it's light, you can just feel how solid it is. And if I remember correctly, titanium is about 5 times, let me think, if it's 5 times stronger than stainless steel and about 40 or 50% lighter than stainless steel. So, I mean, this watch is also much more scratch resistant, of course, with having a sapphire crystal. But that's really cool that this, that you're getting a metal that's 5 times stronger, but yet 40 or 50% lighter than stainless steel. Really, really cool. I like that a lot. So, again, trying to think of anything else I might have forgotten. I think that's about it. The bezel does have kind of like a nice coin edge to it. It's got plenty of grip. And guys, that's really about it for this one. Really, really nice. But I'm really kind of disappointed with the price point, only because I just don't think this watch is worth $515. Yeah, that's what it costs on Amazon, $515. If this retailed for about $350, I would recommend snapping it up. Now, I know the fact you're getting a sapphire crystal, the watch is all titanium, that's going to raise the price point of this Citizen diver, but I just think $515. It actually retails for $695, I believe. Yeah, there you go, $695. I just don't think it's worth anywhere near retail, and I don't even think it's worth, $515, even though that's almost $200 off. Maybe it's just me. I mean, let me know in the comment section below what you think about the price of this thing. I just can't, I can't recommend buying at this price. Maybe it'll come down, but because it's a limited edition, the odds of it coming down in price are nil to none. But anyway, so there you go, folks. If you like this watch, please click on like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. I really appreciate each and every subscriber. I try to answer your questions in the comment section as fast as I can. And if you like this, again, go out there and get it. I'll put a link in the description field to Amazon where you can get this thing. And it's a fantastic looking watch, fantastically built watch. I mean, it's sturdy, it's reliable, it's tough, it's really good looking. But at this price, I don't know. I mean, again, this is my personal opinion. Some of you out there are going to look at it, just absolutely love it, and are going to want to buy it at any price. One, because it's a Citizen ProMaster diver. Two, because it's it's an all titanium limited edition version, and they're not making any more of them. So anyway, so you have a little bit of a decision to make if you want to get this one. I like it. I just don't like the price. So there you go. Anyway, folks, that's been about it. Again, this has been the Citizen EcoDrive Limited Edition 300 meter solar quartz titanium diver, model number BN0141-53E. I have an absolute legend coming up next week that I'm going to review, so you want to definitely stay tuned for that. And until then, I will see y'all later. Take care.